Hola, ¿qué tal? Soy Mariella Godinez-Munoz. Bienvenidos a otra nueva edición de Hoy Wisconsin Today. Hello and welcome to a new edition of Hoy Wisconsin Today. Today I have a special guest. She is from the city of Milwaukee, Janiece Corevine. She's a book writer of Within the Child course. She wants to share her story with the world and our community. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about you.
I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I'm a college student. And I started working on my book over 21 years ago. And it was only just to keep a journal. And I had so many pages, I'm like, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and turn this into a book. And so I just kept writing, and I would move and keep writing some more, and I finally finished in 2015.
Okay, and just tell us a little bit, where did you grow up and how your story began?
I grew up in a place called Cedar Rapids, Iowa. That's where I'm from. And the story, I guess I could say it's the abuse that started when we were like really young. Mine started at the age of 3. And along with my siblings, and my father was the one who controlled the whole entire dynamics of the family. So the abuse started way before I was even born, unfortunately.
And then how many years of your life were abused and what provoked to tell your story? Because you are here right now and people may not understand like everything that you went through, but you want people to understand that, but at the same time, you want others to speak.
Right. What provoked the story was I wanted to basically help myself. That's why I literally started journaling with my therapist. And then as the story grew on, you know, there was so much suffering at the hands of my father, our next door neighbor. So, you know, you're suffering abuse, you're also suffering molestation, and you're suffering pedophilia. And so I wanted people to know how abuse started behind closed doors. And then the sad thing is the secrets just keep piling up, and nobody talks about it because they're ashamed. And I didn't want to be ashamed anymore because it wasn't my fault that it started. I was only 3 years old and I'm being molested by my pedophile. So I wrote the story to be heard, to know that what happened to me can happen to anybody. And if my story can change one person's life to avoid that abuse happening on and on and on in a continuous vicious cycle, then I would be very happy.
Thank you. I will translate it for our Spanish-speaking viewers.
Sure.
Okay. El día de hoy tenemos invitada especial que nos está hablando de todo el sufrimiento que ella vivió como niña en cuanto al abuso que sufría junto a su padre, sus hermanos, pero también el vecino de la casa. Ella lo que quiere es que todos nosotros conozcamos su historia. Ella se está atreviendo a contar todo lo que le pasó de niña para que también si alguien está sufriendo en estos momentos el abuso, también esa persona pueda hablar. Pero también todo esto, como dice ella, este libro lo escribió por muchísimos años junto con su psicóloga, que básicamente la apoyó y le dijo, ¿sabes qué? Tienes que dejarle saber al mundo lo que está pasando. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I was sharing with our Spanish-speaking viewers a little bit of your story, but without giving the story complete, okay? Describe the type of abuse that endure, just tell us a little bit about that.
The story that stands out in my head the most was, I always, you know, our parents wanted us to do really well in school, and I wasn't doing well at all. And so when we brought home report cards, I had F's on my report card. And so my mother, I should say her tool for abuse was extension cord. So she beat me because I got an F on my report card. So then my mom said, you wait till your dad gets home. So when my father came home, he used a wooden paddle with nails driven through it. and he beat me because of I got the F on the report card. And as he's beating me, he's saying, I don't want you to get any more Fs in your report card. Do you understand? Whack, whack, whack. And this gone on for like maybe 8-10 minutes. And then I was moving around so much that he put his foot on my back to keep me from wiggling, and he still kept beating me. So that's the kind of stuff that we suffered behind closed doors that nobody knew about.
Entonces ella lo que nos dice es que estaba compartiendo con nosotros sin dar la historia completa del libro, un poquito de todos los abusos que sufrió junto a su padre. Ella nos dice que muchas veces la golpeaba con extensiones, esas quizás, como decimos nosotros, eléctricas. Entonces si ella se sacaba una F en un examen o sacaba malas notas, era como decir totalmente algo que su papá se enojaba y pues su mamá tampoco nos decía nada. Entonces eso sucedió aproximadamente por unos largos años de sufrimiento que ella vivió. Entonces usted lo que tiene que hacer también es leer el libro también para que usted pueda entender un poco más de la historia. I was sharing with that a little bit of what did you say, and people have to buy the book,
right,
because they have to read what you went through, for many years. Tell me a little bit about when your book was published. That's really important. And then also sales where people can buy the book, and how the reading, what people are telling you about reading your book.
The first one you mentioned was, what was it again?
I say publish. When was published?
It was published February. It was published in February 2016, and my publisher called and she said, "Your book is live." I said, "No, it's not." So I went online and I saw my name. I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" So I was so excited. So my book was published February 2016. The sales, they're not really going fast. However, the book is selling. It's on a small little rise, and the book is kind of funny because it shows you what states the books are being sold in.
Okay.
And you can buy the book on outskirtspress.com. You can buy the book on Amazon.com. You can buy the book in Barnes & Noble, which is POD, which is print on demand. And the book will be available in March of 2017.
Okay, congratulations. And now, why is important for you, for Milwaukee, the state of Wisconsin, and the whole world about your story, to tell your story?
It's important for me to let people know that what we suffered as children, it's worse now as in the communities that I see now. I'm meeting a lot of people who said that, you know, they suffered the abuse, they suffered sexual abuse, and there's no one that they can talk to, there's no one they can tell because they're so ashamed. And so what I want the Milwaukeeans and the world to know is that you don't have to be ashamed of what you've never started. It's not your fault that adults couldn't control themselves. And you have to be able to tell the secret so the abuse can stop. And if we can all express ourselves and be able to tell what's going on privately, a lot of the sexual molestation wouldn't continue.
Okay. And describe some stigmas that you feel exist in the African American community when it comes to sexual or any other abuse. But we know this happened in the Latino community or any, ethnicity.
The only stigmatism I see, not stigmatism, the only stigma I see in Milwaukee is unfortunately, a lot of single mothers are raising children, and then by them being gone 8-12 hours a day, the children are sometimes being raised by themselves. That's where the sexual incest comes in, because no one's there to watch them. And so they only have themselves to occupy themselves. And so that's a downfall. And the other one is when mothers are meeting all these strange men and they're having to take care of these babies, little girls, little teenagers, and all of a sudden the sexual molestation is starting because the mother's not home to control the child or there to watch the husband or not the husband, but the boyfriend. And there's so many, it's like a revolving door. I think that there has to be more communication, more rules set for the children to follow the parent as far as what they can do, what they can't do, where they can go. And they just got to be more, what's the word I'm looking for? More structure.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming to that show, okay?
Thank you.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Okay. Can you pass me the book?
Sure.
Gracias. Muchas gracias. Así que usted ya lo sabe. Si usted quiere conocer más sobre la historia de Janiece
Corevine.
okay, usted lo que tiene que hacer es comprar Within the Child's Court, un libro donde ella cuenta su historia acerca de todos los abusos que sufrió junto a su padre, sus hermanos y también un vecino. Así es que usted ya lo sabe, usted tiene que cuidar muchísimo a sus hijos, como ella lo dijo, así es que lo más importante es la comunicación. Nos vamos a una breve pausa, pero no se muevan que regresamos con más en tan solo unos instantes. We'll be right back. Don't move. Thank you.